We are inspired by you. Thank you for joining our Creative Mamas community. Please give us a 5-star rating, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, support Creative Mamas Unplugged on Patreon to get your name in the credits, receive extra content, and earn some fun prizes. With this, we can keep creating, uplifting, and growing this incredible community together. We love you so much. Applause.
Be happy.
Happy. Happy.
Be happy, Mom. Be happy, Mommy.
Come on, keep your chin up.
Enjoy this time.
Smile.
Smile, smile, my darling. Blessings.
Welcome to Creative Mamas Unplugged. We are your hosts. I'm Cherice Barton.
And I'm Shelly Hutchinson. Here at Creative Mamas Unplugged, we navigate the hell out of being creatives while raising humans with humor and heart.
We have honest conversations,
Hear wise words from fellow badass parents, and share hilarious stories from the front lines.
Listen, parenthood is one of the most creative, most difficult jobs in the world. You are not alone, and you deserve to be happy. Hello, friends. Today we welcome back the extraordinary Stephanie Klemons for part 2 of our incredible conversation. An award-winning performer, director, choreographer, etc., etc. The list goes on. Stephanie has built a career shaping some of Broadway's most unforgettable moments, all while navigating the beautiful, messy, and ever-changing world of motherhood. In this episode, we speak about so much. Stephanie opens the door even wider, speaking candidly about her post-pregnancy journey, letting go of that bounce back myth, and the evolving friendship she is building with her children. It's inspiring, and it's a deep look at what it means to be both an artist and a mom. This is part 2 with Stephanie Klemons.
Sometimes I'll look back at videos because sometimes I'll have choreographic process videos where I record a thing and then I know what the final product was. And I know that I did 7 versions to get to the final product. And I'll look back at that first one. I'm like, that first one captured some fucking funky shit. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And I threw it away because I overthought it.
Yes.
Versus now, I don't have time to overthink it. So the first thing that comes out, and it's good or not, I don't know. I personally don't feel like I have any objective understanding of my work personally. If I ask my voice in my head, it sucks. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I like that. And I don't have that. And I don't trust the voice of other people. I look at it like I'm a conducive conductor. I have been put in this place to be a channel for this thing. I don't get to say whether it's good or bad. I don't know why I'm saying it, but this is what's coming out. So I relate to what you're saying, but a little bit, for me, it's a little bit different, but yes, it is really true that you're there are things that are good, but good is so objective. At the end of the day, you can make something amazing and 5 people are going to see it and 3 of them are going to say it's great and 2 of them are going to be like, that really sucked. So what even is good and bad? The point is we all have a voice. Our voice matters. There wouldn't be billions of unique voices on the planet if it wasn't necessary to have the unique voice. And so you have the only voice of your own, so you have to use it. Good, bad, whatever. It doesn't matter. Every person's voice is going to touch one person. The most craziest,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just feel like the sense that I feel is it has put me closer to source in that I don't get to do so much human editing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, it's like that book, I love this. It was The Director Prepares by Tina Landau. And she says that by the time, if you have block and by the time you walk over to the stereo, in 10 seconds, your idea is going to stop every time. And I live by that. And it is so true.
So I was 42 years old when I realized that I could get over body block, writer's block for dancers, by going on a walk and listening to music, the song that I was choreographing. Because if my body was just actively moving, I had less judgment. I don't know what. And then I could see it all in my head. And then if I didn't really care about marking something while walking and people see me, I could grab it, right? Because I always think there's this great Ani DeFranco lyric I talk about all the time where she's it's like walking through the desert, going from my head to my hand, right? You hear the song in your head and then you have to write it down. For dancers, it's the same. We see it perfectly. And then the capturing of it is what's imperfect, right? And then there's also the teaching of it. Sometimes it makes it more perfect when you see it in another body. You're that's even better than I imagined. And sometimes it's I just couldn't get across what I wanted. But there's an there's an imperfection of it going from, if you could imagine, like you're touching the source, like the energy of what it is, into getting it down here. And to me, it's like that finding ways to get over that block. I feel like I'm finding more of those ways now at like more of a rapid clip, whether it's, the law of mastery, getting towards the 10,000 hours thing or whatever it is, or it's just that I'm finding these things. I totally agree that there's like just certain things that you're like, oh, where we used to get stuck in this block, you don't have time to get stuck in the block. You just, the number has to be choreographed tomorrow and my son's hungry and I have to do both things. So, so work it out.
That's it right there. That is literally, that is it.
I'm going through something similar this week. And again, like we were saying, the time management is real. I used to want to be so prepared, over prepared. And now I so resonated with what you said, because I only have so many hours in the studio. I mean, I have an idea, and like you, I walk and I listen, I'll kind of see. But for me, what I have to do is just say, okay, universe, be with me, and trust. One big thing for me too that I realized is when I am in a room of these incredibly creative and beautiful artists, they want to be part of the process. They want me to trust them. So I can walk in and I can show my vulnerability in a sense and be like, I'm here for you. There is no wrong way to do anything. I might say no, but feel free to be on this journey with me. Then there'll be times where I'm doing something and I get stuck and they will go, how about something like this? And I'll be like, I like that. Okay, you're hired. You know what I mean? And so we work together. And so I don't feel that same fear of being at the front of the room and everyone just standing there staring at me and feeling that like, it's the collaboration that helps me so that I can feel confident to walk in the room without my pen drafts.
Yes, exactly. And I crave collaborative spaces so much. And I know there are choreographers who feel really strongly that you have to have every 8 and all the ands counts in between done before you show it to a dancer, or else it's not your material. I find that to be so limiting. And like, I have my group of pre-production dancers that I've been using for years, like Gina DePool and Rob Cugliatore and Taylor McMahon. Like, I have my core people that are in the room with me all the time. And I'm not afraid to go in there and be like, I don't know what this number is. I think it's something like this. Try this arm. And they fill it. Like, my idea is like a black and white sketch and they fill it with color. And then from there we move on. And it's like, that is so much more fun than me just like staring at myself in a mirror, trying to like sort out something that wouldn't have been filled with all of these things. And I think, as someone who worked as an associate for years, it is hard to see so much of your input. Then like if somebody gets awarded, you feel, whatever. I've been so lucky to work with Andy because he is so collaborative. I mean, we've spent 20 years building this relationship with one another, but he will look across the room and look in my eyes and he wants to know what my opinion is. He wants me to say yes or no, or I think this instead. And like you said, Cher, like he might be like, no, actually, I don't want that idea. But like, to work like that, I find that so thrilling. And just because there's not an award structure or even arguably a pay structure that honors that completely, is that a reason not to work that way? I don't know. I'd rather be working that way and then have the pay structure, like at the beginning of my choreographic career, I never asked for a budget for a room in my pre-pro dancers. I always ask for a budget for a room in my pre-pro dancers now. And you know what? If they don't put it in my budget, I ask for more money and I give it to them anyway. I want pre-pro dancers. I want them to get paid and I want to work with them. And, I make sure that I find a way to say aloud, whether it's on social media or this or that, like, thank you to these people. And I just personally don't work well the other way.
It is beautiful. Most of my collaborators they love it. Like they're like, yeah, in the studio so I can play.
Yeah.
And I try to reciprocate by paying them from my own pocket, or if they're young enough, they just want to be in the studio and have the experience, and thanking them on social media, and hopefully in the program, if it's allowed, to give them like special thanks too. And I try to find ways to open doors for them in other ways.
I agree. I agree. And the other thing that I say to people sometimes is like, when you're composing or you're painting, your medium is an inanimate object. I mean, arguably, you know, flute has a life. Okay, fine. But like, you're not using a person to do that. And sometimes you do. Like, there's some composers who are like, I need this drum lick, and the drummer does it. But like, it's a little bit different in that as a choreographer, your medium is a body. And so if the first time you're seeing something on a body is in the room, I think there is something different, and there has to be something more generous from all of us. I have loved like contending with my ego for 20 years because it's such a great opportunity to be like, that's your ego. Was the process full of love? Was the process full of great art? Yes. Tell your ego to sit down, because you know, it's one thing if you can't make a livelihood. It's one thing if you're not getting paid. It's one thing if you're not, but if you are being compensated for your time with gratitude and money, then like, what more can we ask for? You know, that's great. It's great. It's the dream.
It's
You
the
know?
ego position that will make everything where you're going to just constantly search for it to be about you in all the ways. Where it's like the work isn't about you. It's literally like, it's the same as parenting where you're like, here's my kid. I'm just here to support. And I'm here to guide and support. And it's the same thing with our work. We create it. It's not from an ego position. It's from a position of like, we're here, we're sharing it. We hope everyone really likes it.
And also it is from an ego, but we have an ego, but like you can talk to your ego and be like, thank you for your opinion. Now shut up. Like the voice is there. It's not that it's not there. It's there. But it's like, thank you so much for your help. Cause like your ego is what makes you, it's why you sit in the studio for an extra 2 hours a night instead of leaving at 6 o'clock. Cause your ego says, I want it to be better because I want people to, you know, so like, fine, it's there, but like, great. Like how great to have this beast inside of you that's your tool, not your destruction. You know what I mean?
Use it as a tool. Don't silence it completely.
Totally.
Because then we're not recognizing that it actually helps us if we
we're human. We have an ego. That's why we're still standing.
Right.
I have a question for you, Stephanie. So your journey to fitness and post babies, yes, I know. I see those muscles and I'm like, wow. Can you share a bit of that with us?
Yeah. What a fucking journey that was. I just thought that I was going to have a baby and my stomach was just going to go back to being flat. And I just thought that's how it happens for fit people. And I was a fit person. And then everyone's like, well, if it didn't happen right away, you'll nurse and it'll happen. Fast forward to gained, 40 pounds nursing with my second baby. A pregnancy that I barely gained any weight during, and I gained all the weight after. For me, the hardest part was the breaking of expectation. Like I had a massive expectation of what my fit dancer body was going to do and how it was going to respond to being pregnant. And when it didn't act that way, the feeling of like failure and the embarrassment and shame and why not me, all pity, all of those things was so overwhelming. And it was like, shut up. You have a kid, 2 kids to take care of. Like, you don't have time for that. And what I ended up sort of getting to was I'm heavy right now. And, I lost this really important job that I wanted because of my weight. And they didn't say that, but that's why I lost it. In my brain, I was like so angry, but also like I have to understand why that happened. Right. So it was like this really mentally, for me, it was, I was looking in the mirror and being like, I don't know who that person is. It was people looking at me and making a judgment and me almost forgetting like, what's like that like image where it's like the mouse looks in the mirror and it's a lion. Like I was presenting a certain way, but in my brain, I look like this. So when people would judge me or I would and I'm like, what do you mean? Like I'm in here. And that sort of like not relating to myself as self was also really hard. I always was fit and I always like went for runs. I had really, really bad pelvic floor issues with my first baby. And so I was very, very scared my second pregnancy. Like my first baby, I ran 6-7 miles through my 3rd trimester. My second baby, I was so careful and I was so scared. That feeling where you're just like, it's the PTSD of I had a really bad labor. I don't want to go through that again. I'm eating healthy. I'm working out every day. I was going to F45 6 days a week. And I was like for over a year and nothing was happening. And I just thought to myself, how do I actually get to a point where I can make some progress because I'm stuck. And I was like, Stephanie, what would you tell yourself if you were outside of yourself? You'd say, go talk to someone and get some help. You're not an island. Get some help. And Jen Geller, I've known her for a million years. She did the first national tour, Bring It On, when she was just a wee little baby. And I love her very much. And she had been starting her business. And I was like, Jen, I don't really know if I need you, but I need some help. And she was like, girl, we are going to turn you into a fat burning machine. I was like, I don't know about that, but like, let's do the thing. And I signed up with Jen Geller. And within 6 weeks, I was like, oh my God, I didn't have the tools. I didn't know enough about nutrition, because what we were taught with nutrition was just starve yourself and everything's going to be fine. And, you get to a certain point where you're starving yourself, but you're starving your muscles. So then you have no metabolism, especially as a woman in her 40s. And she just turned my whole thing around. And, for me, I already been working out. I was already fit. I have a athletic build. And so when the fat started to pour off, it was like this very massive, visible transformation. People were like, oh my God, how did that happen? And it was just like, it was under here. I was just under here. And I already had the discipline of working out every morning. Once my kids both love nursing. I don't know if you guys have this. My kids love nursing from 5:30 to 7:30 in the morning. So it was like during my nursing year and a half, I was like, Stephanie, you're going to be fat and that's it. You got to just live with that. This is the most important thing. You want to nurse these babies. You're not going to the gym in the morning. And morning for me is a time when I have to work out because I'm not successful the rest of the day. So once my second son stopped nursing, I was like, I'm hitting the gym every day. So that was already a discipline. With my second child, and my first child really is when it started, I started to have this, not a fear, but like I didn't want to eat food that I didn't know where it came from. So I already was making all my meals. So when she said, okay, so just adjust your macros, instead of this many berries, put this much yogurt. And that's all we did. We adjusted the food that I was already meal prepping. I kept my gym schedule in the morning and it was like magic happened. So I think really it was this thing that people always talk about, discipline. And I always found myself like, I thought it said I wasn't disciplined. Like that's the story I told myself. Oh, you're just not disciplined enough. Someone else who's doing it is more disciplined than you. And it was, no, I just was trying to be a fucking island. And we know that you need help. When you can't do something, you should ask for help. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's what it was. It was getting out of like the sort of like rut of not asking for help. And once I did that, everything changed.
That's great.
I love how you said how like you thought you weren't disciplined, yet here you are nurturing these two babies. Right. It's wild. Because I know that's like such a common thing. And I remember feeling that too. Like, no, I got it. I can do it. I can figure it out. I'm figuring out everything else with the kids. But like the fact that you get someone to help is so inspiring because that is not easy in all the ways. It's like, and the thing you're already doing all the things.
Yeah. When she was like, oh, you're great. We're only going to shift. This is going to be so easy for you. I was like, girl, I've been trying this for 14 months. I've been going hard and I have not lost even 10 pounds. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she was right. She was right. It was like, I was so close, but I didn't see the blind spot. I didn't know the thing that I didn't know, which was how to eat to fuel your body, because I was raised in, if it's starving or nothing.
Right.
How old are your kids now?
6 and 3. The best. 2 boys.
2 boys, me too.
It's great. Lice, broken bones, all of it.
Well, I keep muting because my youngest is downstairs playing a baseball video game while I'm doing this. And he keeps yelling. First, he's 11.
I can't wait for that. We've just for the first time did a family puzzle because my 3-year-old is old enough. So we did a 500-piece puzzle and we started it. And I was like, I'm so excited. Like we play chess now. We do puzzles. Like it's just getting so great. It's like, I can't wait. I can't wait for video games. I can't wait for like all of the things that we're going to do, It's so fun. People say it just keeps getting better. And of course, like I look back at my little baby now and I'm like, I wish I could have another one. But yeah.
It's so true. It does get better. And it's like all of the different stages that they go through are amazing and hard.
We were in the car, my 13-year-old, we were in the car and we were driving and we were trying to find Bob Marley, and this 3 Little Birds baby song came up on my Spotify. And I started crying, bro, like crying. And he looks at me, literally was like, bro, mom, what? Like, bro. And I was like, this was the song I used to sing to you when you're blah, blah, blah. And he was like, mom, are you serious? I'm like, I'm just so emotional. I can't help it. And he goes, do you miss that? Do you want to go back? Would you take a like just 1 hour with me as a baby? And I was like, you know what? I get what you're saying, but never, because this right here, you're in the front seat for the first time with me.
Oh, you're going to make me cry right now. I'm actually going to sit here and cry.
This is the thing, it's like we connect with these kids on a level that's like so deeper than we would with anyone else. Deeper. It's a different deep. Yeah. It's like, how can I be annoyed by the things that they do? I'm here for it. And I am pro teen all the way. I'm pro getting old.
I love that.
Every year. It's like the connection is different.
100%. We went on a little road trip a week before I started this job. And he asked me a question and we got to talk about quantum physics. And my degree is in genetics and microbiome research. So I will just like science talk for hours. And he is the same way.
He's really into science and
yes, my oldest is like he's like has like a hyper intelligence for like the world. And so we were talking about quantum physics and I was explaining to him, like the differences between like Newtonian physics and quantum physics and how it applies to this question that he asked. And my wife is like 50 minutes in. She's like, I think if I have to listen to one more minute of this conversation, I'm going to drive us off. I need you to shut up, the both of you. And it's just like, you have like these little friendships. Like that's like his and my thing. My other son, never going to care about that. Me and my older one, absolutely. So it is true. Cause it's like, I'm starting to form not just like the mommy son, but there's like we're breaking off into like our, friendships. And my wife has like her own things with him that I'm like, that's all you. Like it is really cool. And I'm like, you're so fun. Like, let's go have coffee.
I love that. Little friendships. You're right. That's exactly what it is.
There's little friendships and the bonds that we have are really unique. And, for me, and I'm just going to I'm always really vulnerable and like truthful on this pod. And, since we're newly divorced, the kids have their relationship with their dad. I'm grateful for that. And I never want to feel jealous or threatened, which is a natural reaction, I think, when you're splitting time with children. And I'm always saying, your dad's an amazing man. Like you guys, but it's there. I still feel it sometimes. I have to remind myself, no, that's theirs. And how cool is that is theirs? And
it's so true. And, it's funny because during the pandemic, not funny, but, obviously we were all just home and my wife was NYPD. So she was never home. So we went from me being home all the time and the kids never seeing her. And really at that young age, they were like, she's my mom, but it was not, like I was the nursing mommy. I was the mommy that was home all the time. It was all the things. And then when she retired and I kind of had to like go full throttle, the tables turned so dramatically. And one, the pain of the separation from them, like losing the sort of like primary mommy spot, which I carried them. And there's a conversation to be had around the nuance of that because when they get hurt, it's usually still like that mommy that I was inside. That's the one that I want, there's a difference, even though we're both two women. But watching their bond form, sometimes I'd come home from a trip and I'm like, oh, you guys are closer. I'd feel myself being like, and then I'm like, I'm so happy that you have that. Like I couldn't ask for anything more. I'm gone. And you're like uncoupling certain things from me and safely connecting them to her. And that's so great. And like, sometimes when I travel, we'll have their teachers. One of the benefits of living in Florida is it's not as strict as New York, where you can miss like 15 days and you're done. In Florida, they have like this Florida Flex where you can go to school and do some homeschooling. And it's the #1 school district in Florida and the #3 school district in the country that I live in. So they do this thing where they would sort of send us with like a homeschool packet. Now, I'm mommy who they go to for Band-Aids, but for some reason, if I try to teach my son a new word, it's like, but when my wife teaches him things, he gets it. And I always say to her, I'm like, do you realize he learns from you? He doesn't learn from me. He learns from you. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you don't have enough distance from this to see it, but I can, because I come and go now all the time. And it's like the richness that he has, if it was just, she has so much richness from her because they have something different. And she's funny. Like, I'm not that funny. Like I can have deep talks about quantum uncoupling, but I'm not like, I don't make like a quick quip in the car and make you giggle, So I agree. I do have that like in a different way, obviously, but like the sense of this, like, oh, I'm jealous, but I'm so happy that you have that.
One more question.
Yes.
You have a piece of advice for young moms who are in the business, in the industry, who are just having babies, who are pregnant, who are coming into this? Is there anything that you feel like you would like to share?
You know, I would go back to the thing that I said before. You cannot let anyone set your boundaries for you. If the choreographer to your left is only taking this amount of time to be with their kids or to nurse or to do whatever, then that's fine for them, but that's not you. I pumped all through all of my kids for 17 months each and nursed them. And I made that a priority and it was fine. And in some spaces, I felt some type of way, but I had to get over that because that was my boundary. And I spoke to a friend recently and she said something about like, well, I missed my son's last day of whatever. And I was like, why? And she was like, well, I didn't feel comfortable asking for the rehearsal because I was like, that person that you were going to ask doesn't care whether you miss it or not. You know who cares? You know who's never going to forget that you missed it? You. And I just think we have to allow ourselves to be moms in the world because the instinct is to hide it. I can hide as much of the momming and then I'll just be respected. And the more we let ourselves be moms in the world, the more the world will be okay with that. And the caveat to all that is a Marion Seldes quote that I love, which is, I don't take advice, I don't give advice. Like if it doesn't work for you, that's not meant for you. We have to write our own stories. And at the end of the day, when you lie down to take your last breath, it's you and you and you and no one else.
Wow, you're incredible. Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
Guys, thanks for having me.
You're just this conversation is so needed and so rich, full of so much information and advice and thought and spirit. And thank you for sharing yourself with us.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for doing this, for the moms, for being a resource, because it's so important. And in the ever-changing world where I'm meeting so many younger dancers who are having babies, whereas like all the people that I did my first Broadway shows with, none of them have kids because that's just, we didn't always make space for it. So I'm so happy that this exists.
Creative Mamas Unplugged is produced by Breatheasy Productions with music by Jeremy Jurin. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give my mama 5 stars and keep coming back. Thanks to us kids, there are plenty of stories to tell. And you are not alone. Bye for now.